What is up, everybody? Nibori here. Today we're going to be going, I guess, into a little more in-depth on our opinion. I'm here with Marco as well. We're going to be discussing what we've seen so far in this game and what to expect if you guys are looking to get it. I know a lot of you guys were looking to play it or have played it. Some of you guys have refunded. A lot of craziness has been going on these past 4 days with this game in particular. And I'm not really sure what you guys' thoughts on it. Let us know in the comments below as you go through this video. We're just going to rant, talk about what we've seen, what we've noticed, what we've experienced in this game, and just go from there, I guess. And hopefully you guys get an opinion we're going to be honest about. We're not going to completely bash the game because there are some good things about this game, right? You're going to be like, damn, Nibori, what the heck, these, what are you talking about? This game's terrible. Well, we're gonna go through that, okay? Marco, what's up, dude? What up?
Yo, I got a bone to pick with this game, man.
Damn!
I got a bone to pick with it because
Okay.
I really want to like it,
Same.
but I just was able to play it this morning, even
Yeah.
though I've been trying to play it for 4 days.
This is true. Oh, I know where this is going. All right, go for it. Go for it.
That's enough. Like that right there is enough to make me extremely pissed about it,
I'm
and it overshadows all of the good things about the game when you get into it.
true, and I'm actually surprised that you were that patient because I know you wanted to refund it right away. Because like he couldn't get. They basically. So we're on a server called Marabi, right? There's a whole bunch of different servers. So they opened a couple new servers, and they wanted to push other players to the other servers, which they went around this terrible way. They basically locked our server for any character creation anybody else new to join our server. So everybody that wanted to play with me, play with everybody else that was in the guild that we were playing with, couldn't even get on it. The server wasn't full, but they were trying to push other people to other servers, which is not the best way to go about it. I don't know. That had me heated.
Yeah, it felt like there was almost a lack of understanding. So I think one of the main things about any of these games that get sort of rebooted after a long period of time is they
Yeah.
have to sort of do their research and realize they're not getting rebooted into the same environment that the games were back then. Like back then, it was almost notorious. If you played an
Yeah,
MMO, you weren't. If you put in a ticket like I need help ticket, it was notorious that you weren't going to get answered for
for
at least
sure.
2 or 3 days. And I think a lot of these guys have that mentality going into today's market, which is totally different. If
Right.
you aren't on Reddit, if you aren't constantly updating your viewership, if you aren't constantly addressing people and asking questions, people are just going to kind of feel like you're shady, especially if you lead with this very, very obvious cash grab mentality
For sure.
where I remember looking at their Twitter a few times and they wouldn't address people's questions, but the next tweet would be about, oh, we fixed the money thing. You can now log into the marketplace and buy more
Yeah.
stuff. And they just rubbed a lot of people a really, really, really kind of bad way.
There was like, with that being said, like there was a lot of issues. Like, you know, there was a splash screen issue, which is not huge, but like it would kept leaving you at a splash screen when you first loaded in. You couldn't get in, so you had to restart the game, keep going in. So that was a headache, right? Launch wasn't, you know, MMO launches are not the smoothest thing in the world ever. Like, we know this. We're not like saying, oh, this is the first time it's ever happened to a game, right? Always MMOs have an issue with launch. They don't, you know, make enough servers. They don't, whatever happens. That usually happens.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things, like, my biggest argument, like, I am enjoying this game. I'm enjoying this playing with my friends. That's the whole point of an MMO, right? Making new friends, playing with your friends, and just having a good time, which we were doing. But some
Nope.
information.
Let me
Go ahead.
amend that. Let me amend that. You guys were doing. I was
Oh, yeah,
stuck
he
on the
couldn't get in.
outside trying to get in.
Yes.
And when I was on the outside, I was constantly experiencing everyone else constantly posting the same ticket. Man, I bought this game so I could play with my little sister.
Yeah.
I bought this game so I could play with my cousin, my uncle, my friends from work. I saw a couple of instances where entire guilds were locked out. Like half of the guild would be like, hey, so they brought them a lot of money. Like a whole guild came over from Warcraft or whatever, and they were like, hey, we're just going to restart on this, and then they locked half the guild out of the server and just never really addressed it for like 4 or 5 days.
And that put off a lot of people, for sure.
It did. I actually saw a few cases where not only did the people who couldn't get in the server left, but the people who were actually already in the server also left. So they ended up losing a lot of that business anyway and having to refund the money.
Sorry, I just killed somebody in PvP. Like that, and that brings us to another thing too, the PvP. Like, we were promised, I guess not, I guess a lot of people assumed that we were going to get more content. in the aspect of PvP, like dungeon, like there's supposed to be 10 versus 10, 15 versus 15, 3 versus 3s, I believe, 100 versus 100. And obviously, like, not everybody's going to be level 45 and super hardcore into grinding to 45. I mean, that's the whole point, right? To get to 45. So there's a lot of that, but everybody has their own pace. Some people want to experience the story. Some people don't even care. They just skip right through it. But, like, those are that, you know, that get to endgame, which a few have. I'm not there. I'm level 38. Max is 45. So it's... I'm seeing from the outside what other people are doing at max level. We did rush for a while. Like, we played for... Damn. I played for 20 hours straight one day, right? And,
Right.
after the information arose that once you get 45, there's not even items in the dungeons at 45. I'm just like, it slowed down my thirst to get to 45 quickly, because they said that in 2 to 3 weeks that more content's going to be released, things like that. And everybody had the assumption of, you know, when an MMO comes out, especially one that's been processed to be in a different region, right? That all the content from those other regions is going to be out. Yes, you got a, you know, new combat system, things like that to implement translations, which we'll talk about that too. Translation in this game is god-awful, especially on the skills and trying to figure out what link skills and all that, which Marco will probably talk about here. But it's just a factor of a lot of things.
It just seemed like, yeah, I don't think they were really prepared. I think it felt like they were just set more up to grab the money
That's what it
rather
seemed like,
than
yeah.
just taking the small things to just polish. It just kind of felt like a big fuck you and slap in the face, honestly.
It really did.
And it doesn't take a whole lot. Like, for example, if we compare this to the Dauntless launch that just happened, or what, last week, I
Oh
think.
yeah. Dauntless launch was
Terrible.
even when they had issues, it was still they were mindful of their community and being very responsive. But back to you, like what were you saying?
Yeah, like like when Dauntless came out, you know, it was everybody got stuck in the dreaded super long queue time, but
Right.
the whole time they were right there kind of walking you through it like, hey, you know, we know this is happening, sorry, we're up on this as fast as we can. And it was also apparent that they were actually moving as fast as they could and
Definitely.
that they had a lot of people working on it. You know, I'm not saying that I don't want to fault this company for whatever their team size is, but you kind of gotta be ready for that. You
For
really
sure.
gotta be ready for that going into it. Now, talking about the bad things, you know, all of those things which were just absolutely insane, insane. When you look at the actual game once you get in, it is kind of charming.
It is.
I think the graphics are
They're definitely
the
dated, right?
in my opinion, the graphics of the world look
Mm.
really dated, but it's sort of made better by the fact that you can really make some really, really awesome looking characters. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible to make an ugly looking character. And, you know, within like 3 minutes of being in the character creation screen, I was already sort of in love with it. I was like, man, this is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm really early level. I have to catch up with all my friends, but
Yeah.
from what I can see right now, I think it's gonna be pretty fun. It's just I see a lot of people defending it, saying, "Oh, you haven't even really tried the game,"
True.
as if the customer service and the gameplay are not hand in hand. And I feel like they kind of are hand in hand. If you have a really, really good game and you kind of treat your people like crap in the beginning, uh, the game's not really all that good. Like
Right.
it's the one for one type deal.
Yeah. And with that being said, like it does seem like it was a cash grab, and we'll see what happens in the time ahead. Like even when the the players and everybody that had concerns, they didn't really address those concerns in a proper way. They kind of just eluded it around the question, like, oh, it's in the game, but it's not implemented yet, or like things like that should have been in the game. You know what I mean? They're not very PR ready to answer people's questions. It seems.
Yeah, okay, so I actually remember what I wanted to say about that
Yeah.
because that's something that was very important with me. So,
Mm-hmm.
working in games for a long time, you actually kind of see certain companies that are really, really into creating good content. And then there's something that's happening right now on the Eastern market, which is actually kind of really big,
Yeah.
where these companies are creating these games, these dungeon crawling games, and they'll put them out and they'll advertise them in a way that the game is not actually holding up to. For example, um, if you are on Instagram, for example,
Mm-hmm.
you get a lot of those ads for those games like, you know, fantasy heroes, play with your friends, blah, blah, blah. And it got so bad this summer that they actually had to put some laws in place on the Apple Marketplace to stop them from false advertising.
Right.
So a lot of these Eastern companies were literally taking, because I was working on the Final Fantasy game this summer. They were other companies that were literally taking videos from our gameplay and releasing them on the market as their gameplay, saying,
Right.
this is our combat system, da 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 da. And we were like, dude, that's the scene between Noctis fighting Ifrit. Like they just took it, and
Uh-huh.
you would download it, and you wouldn't even know that that's what the game was until after. And it just feels like a lot of that smoke and mirrors was kind of trying, like they were kind of trying to do it here, like they were trying,
Kind of,
and
yeah.
then we have a thing going for us over here in the States called Reddit, which is kind of our first defense.
Yep.
So all the Reddit people just weren't having it. We were just like, you guys see this? No, they said this is not in there. They said it was going to be this. It's not like this at all. And even to the very end, a lot of the questions that they were addressing, they would sort of
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, this has been fixed. Like this morning, for example, they said, "Hey, we finally opened up the servers again. You guys can go make characters." So everyone was super super happy. But they didn't even open the servers up. They opened up half of the server.
Yeah.
They opened up the server, and then you could only play on Alliance, but you couldn't play on the other side. And then, of course, 10 minutes later, they amended that and they said, "Oh, well, we have to still open up half of the server." It's
Yeah.
just it's a lot of shady
Like
business.
just say that. Just be like, oh, we opened these servers and this is what's gonna happen. We're planning on opening this in, in a couple hours or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just be honest. Like they're just not they're not being transparent with anything. Like they're just super straight. I don't know if they just, like I said, don't know how to PR and then, like how to do it correctly, or they just simply are clueless. I really don't know. Or they're just being
The
shady.
best
I
the
really
best
don't
way
know.
I can explain it is it's almost like one of those shady car salesmen from the 80s
Yeah.
get put into a time capsule, and then they wake up in the year 2018 and they try
Yes.
the same stuff, and we're like, you ain't pulling that.
Right.
Because we're way more informed now.
Mm-hmm.
We're faster. We all, as gamers, we sort of work as a network, and we can kind of ferret out when there's some shady business happening.
Definitely.
Like even the whole thing of, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, well, if you look at the well, okay, first off, let me backtrack. For those of you who don't know, there's pretty much no end game content, which is
Yeah.
insane. They basically sell you a shell. Like they say, all right, here, buy the game, uh get up to level 45, enjoy it, whatever. And then you get to level 45, and there was this one famous streamer who was like, he played it, he rushed all the way to 45, and then he
Yep.
got there, and there's no content. And he literally had a breakdown on stream and was like, what the
Oh, I
hell?
remember
I
that.
literally spent my last 2 days I didn't even pee. Like,
Yeah.
it was absolutely insane. So then, I when I was talking to some friends of mine, I had a friend of mine who was defending it, and he was saying, well, if you look back at some text on the internet from 2017, they
Mm-hmm.
actually say the whole game's not going to be there.
Yeah, they said that this was going to be kind of like this period of pre-release and a little bit further, like 2 weeks out, is going to be a trial period, right? But they said that back in 2017. Like, if that's the case, you're going to have to rehash it now because people aren't going to look back. You know what I mean? Like, he had to do some digging to get that.
Yeah, it's literally the
Yeah.
the most egregious case of read
So
the fine print.
stupid.
It's
Right.
not even the fine print at the bottom of the pack when you buy it or
It's a
anything
year
like that.
later.
The fine print is a year in the past on a text blog,
Yeah.
hidden away in on a website somewhere.
Yeah.
Now that's insane because most people who are hearing about the game, they aren't up on that. They're
Hell
just
no.
like, your friends are like, hey, what are you playing? Oh, I'm playing Bless. Okay, cool. I'm gonna buy it. Then you buy it,
And
and
you
then you
can't get
buy the
in the
founders
server.
pack. Yeah, you can't even get in the server, and you buy the founders pack, which is like $150.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? I just spent 200, and you guys are doing this. This is
It's
insane.
crazy. It is simply crazy. Like I want to give this game a chance. It's been a long time since we had an MMO. As a huge MMO fan for a long time, started back in EverQuest 1, which is still my all-time favorite game, right? Nostalgia is a bitch. But
Oh yeah.
because you're always going to compare it to that first experience that you had in an MMO, even though if you go back to that game, it seems like kind of garbage, even though it's super nostalgia, right? But the game's, it's just not what games are today in the grand scheme of things. But
Even
everybody's
speaking
thirsty
about
for an MMO, right? They were super hyped for
right.
this game. Just not because it's super, I want to say, advanced or super like something new, because there's really nothing in this game that's new other than, in my opinion, there's a couple things, but the biggest thing is like being able to tame things and make them your pets and make them your mounts. Now that's cool, right? But there's nothing super extraordinary new mechanic wise or anything like that. But it's just people haven't had an MMO in a long time that was new here in North America and EU. Yes, it's been out for a while in Japan and Korea and stuff. But I think everybody was expecting, on the same thing of that region-wise, expecting there to be more content since it's actually been out for, what, 5-6 years? Whatever year. It's been a long time. It's an old game.
Yeah, I don't care how you slice it, man.
Yeah,
Them taking the content out at the end and then saying, "Oh,
yeah,
we're gonna put it back in," that's some garbage. I was
exactly.
thinking about why that could be from like different experiences that I've had
Mm-hmm.
just in working in games. All I could think about is like localization, maybe. Like maybe
Yeah,
they needed a little bit more time to actually make sure that people could understand it in English,
definitely.
which they're not really doing a great job
Oh
of
my
anyway.
God! Please read your skill, dude. He has a skill. Like some of my skills aren't as atrocious, but
Oh man.
his, oh my God, he's playing a mage. Read that. Can you guys understand what the hell this means? We broke it down and we actually understood kind of what it meant, but
Yeah.
oh my God,
All right,
go
let's
for
see
it.
here. Okay, Ice Flame. Targeting skill. Effective distance 20 meters. Adds fire element 40 obtain. Adds ice element 40 obtain. Maximum mana 4% plus 50. Consumption chain start skill.
It. If you think
And
about
if
it,
you look
you
at the tree,
understand
but
what
if you
it
look at
is,
the
right?
tree, right, but if you look at the tree, there's okay, so there's 3, 6, 9. There's 100 of these squares, all with this text
Yeah,
on this screen arranged in a tree. And you
I
can't
could pull that
understand the
up.
first one. So how can you explain the other
Yeah, talk about
90?
this. Yeah, like it's just like mine aren't as bad, but we boiled it down to he gets different element like charges, so that gives him an element charge of those elements, and it's a chain to start his chain skill of his combo. Like you see here, I hit one, it pulls up this
But
list. I
the
hit
problem
R.
is they
Right.
never tell you what the element obtain even does, I
Exactly.
guess. I mean, I
Yeah.
have a skill which pumps up my elements, but I don't know where they go or what to do with them or when I
Right.
have them. And even the act of just writing element obtain is just a little, I don't, what?
As simple as when you level up, it says you've become 14 level. What? You've become 14
Let's not
level.
forget let's
Bruh.
not forget the infamous Panladin.
Oh my God. Even on their website, I made a tweet about this yesterday, and some people didn't even notice, dude. Some people didn't even notice. They're like, oh, like, okay, how's the game? Like, so on the website, a paladin is called a panladin. Can you not fix your own? Oh my God. Just like simple things like that. We're just like, are you serious? I can't
Well,
believe you
there's
found that,
quite a
dude.
few.
Like,
Oh, I found some more today actually. I was doing this quest for almost 15 minutes and I just
oh,
couldn't find this mob.
yeah.
And I'm like, what? Where the heck is an Ockid? Or a or yeah, it's something that was like a
Ostrich?
you get this from a no, a Ockid because they left the O and the R or they left the R and the C
Oh
out
my,
of orchid. It's
oh
supposed to be
my
orchid.
God.
I kept Googling it and I was like, Google kept saying, "Did you mean orchid?" And I'm like, "No, man, it's a fucking Ockid."
I mean,
And
to
I'm
be
like, "What's an
fair, there's a
Ockid?"
lot to translate, right? But still,
Yeah.
that is just simple things. Like I said, the game's not that bad. Frame rate right now is, it depends where you are. For me, some people have it like sometimes I get 60 frames, sometimes I get 10. Like there's things like that are the issue. There's a lot of bad things, but there's a lot of good things too. I think it was rushed. I don't think game companies take their time to be like, hey, we need to take a little bit time back here to release it, right? I know there's time limits and restraints on producing games, right? But it's just some simple things that should be addressed. I mean, there are good things too, like the combat's decent. However, it seems like every class has a preferred skill chain. Like right now, I'm just using as you can see, my rapid shot because it's pretty much the most efficient damage that I could do. So I'm not even touching any of these really. I mean, I have a stun, like I use that for PvP, like I did in that dude over there. I know Marco hasn't played enough to get into more of his skill trees, but as he watched us play yesterday and throughout these couple days, I'm sure he saw that too. Like, I've just been, who knows how many times I've been using this one chain. I don't know. I don't know. What's your? I know there's lots of other things we can talk on, obviously, and we can rant. But hopefully that gives you a little overview of what to expect if you want to play this. I don't know.
So
What's
to
your
wrap it
final
all up, I guess
consensus of this? Like, what do you feel?
I guess basically what I'm saying, what I feel is, if you're looking for something to play with your friends, and I guess this is more like a should you buy it type deal.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're looking for something to play with your friends, if they're already like, if you guys are all gonna hop in here and look for a new experience, um, I'd say proceed with caution.
Mm.
We don't know. Oh, okay, so here's what we do know. We know that the game is fun and engaging at lower levels. We know that, um, it's kind of, it doesn't look so great. It's not the
I
best
mean,
looking
it
game,
does
but
show it's dated, right? Yeah.
right. But the bosses and the characters and the creatures actually kind of look pretty cool. You
True.
can obtain almost anything as a pet or a mount in some way. That's got a little bit of fun to it. Um, it's kind of fun to dungeon crawl with your boys. But there's some things we don't know. We don't know what the game is going to look like in 2 weeks from now when they include the late game content. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know what full scale combat looks like yet. Because unfortunately, even though it's pretty much a PvP game, you can't do very much of it in here.
And especially with the
Um,
frame rate right now, who knows what 100 versus
yeah,
100 is going to be?
right. And we definitely don't know what the frame rate issue, if whether they're going to fix the frame rate issues or not. So it's definitely a game. I would probably give it I'd probably give it a low C, but it's
Mm.
it's it's hard. It's hard because I give it a low C because of the lack of feedback we're getting from the developer,
Right.
because of the lack of consistency we're getting with what they say that they're putting out and what they're actually putting out, um, and because we just basically we don't know what's going to happen.
True.
So yeah, I can't I don't think, like, if my friends ask me like, hey, should I buy the game? This is not one of those games when I would tell my friends, yes, totally go buy it. It's
Right.
definitely a proceed at your own risk. Take it at face value, even though there's not a lot of face value to take it at. And yeah, I guess I'm still confused. I'm
Yeah.
confused myself. It's hard for me to even tell anybody if they should buy it because I'm literally confused about whether I'm enjoying it or not.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
that's the best answer.
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, to give you guys a background, I guess we should have said this in the beginning of the video. Marco has been working in games forever. He's worked on Mortal Kombat, all sorts of stuff. So he's been in the game business for a long time. So he knows, like, when he was talking about, how the game devs and things like that, how it's, kind of irritating. He's got a background in game development. So
Yeah, I guess we should have started with that,
we
huh?
should have started with that. Rip. Um,
That's all right.
maybe we'll edit in the front of this video and you guys will be like, what the is going on here? Yeah, maybe we'll do that. But anyway, yeah, I'm on the same kind of fence as him too. Like everybody, as a streamer, as a YouTuber, everybody's always asking my opinion and they want to follow me to the next game if they've been playing with me for a long time, Like, that's the whole point of me wanting to play this game, is to play with my friends, play with my... Oh my god, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Where did I start that off? Oh, okay. So back to my spot. Sorry, a horn was going outside. Same kind of thing as Marco was saying. There's a lot of good things in this, a lot of bad things. But as a full-time streamer and YouTuber, I have a community. You guys, obviously, if you're watching this, right, if you're new to my channel, whatever. What's up? How are you? I appreciate your love. But the reason for me playing an MMO and playing a game like this where you can do 100 versus 100 is to get you guys involved and be able to play with my community, and everybody was excited about that. And the fact that in the beginning people couldn't even get into my server because they locked it is a huge setback for everybody. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to play it now, even in the first couple days. All in all, there's cool mechanics. Combat's pretty fun. But all those issues we talked about come into play. Would I suggest this as somebody to play it? Same along lines. We got 2 to 3 weeks, I think, to a month that we should be taking a look at it. If you are not as hardcore as we are on leveling and stuff like that, obviously I could have been 45, so could have Marco if we, said, hey, this game's got a place to go. Like, just seeing that, level 45, there's nothing to do, kind of like set me back on my grind to being hardcore. So if you want to get into a game with your friends and stuff like that and want an MMO that you haven't played, yeah, you could check it out. But like he said, take it with a grain of salt. You don't know what's going to happen in the future with this game. If it's going to die, a lot of people refunded the game, a lot of things like that. So it's kind of hard to say whether to get it or not. So I mean, it's really up to you guys, to be honest. Would
Yeah,
I get it right
if
now?
I was
I
gonna
would
rank
basically
this,
wait. I would wait. If it was me not looking from the
yeah.
outside, I would wait to get it. But if you're looking for something new, something to play with a group of friends that you want to just hang out, is it worth the money to do that? I'd say
Um,
it's 50-50, to be honest. It's
yeah,
what you want to
I
do.
would say if I had to rate this game from an A to a D, I would
Yeah,
say we'll see.
yeah, yeah. There's, yeah.
If I would say this game is a game to keep your eye on.
Hmm.
Let's take a look at it about 2 weeks from now, when they start adding some new stuff, and
Right.
let's see how that works out. And if if we decide that it's we'll let you know if it's safe, basically. And if it's safe after 2 weeks, then yeah, come in and join
Right.
us. We got a guild going. You can come hop in here,
Hmm.
play with us if you want. But like I said, until then, proceed with caution.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, if you have any questions that we didn't answer or talk about, leave them in the comments below. Let me know or come to the stream or whatever, and we could talk about it. But this was hopefully this helped you guys make a decision on what to expect from this game. Hopefully it helps you decide what to get if you want to get this game or not. Let us know, like I said, and if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a thumbs up. I'm going to keep playing this game till 45 and see what's up, and I guess 2 to 3 weeks, we'll see what they change, and we'll definitely make another video on that or something of the sort. Okay. Cool. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. I'll see you in the next one, baby.